And we are back with episode 9 of the 5 to 9 podcast. It's once again, it's Vince here with my buddy Mike Martino. What's up, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good.
There's that radio voice.
Hey, quarter past the hour. And this is our first long form conversation in a while.
It is.
We've been throwing out some straight note chasers, but our conversations have been
offline.
Yes, and they've been on the back burner a bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good topic today, because we've been talking about, in your 5 to 9, you have to keep hammering and you have to move yourself forward every day. But sometimes I think, and I can do the analogy of boxing or fighting, since there was a big UFC last night. Sometimes you have to be a counter puncher. Sometimes you have to see what's coming at you, and some things need to you may need to work on other things, like we've been doing.
Yeah. And
not feel guilty about it, because I know we did feel guilty about it, even though we're saying don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah, I mean, I know personally, I think there's been like 3 of your let's call them short form episodes since we've done the last one. Just the nature of what we do. So, but it doesn't mean that there's not work happening. It just means that we're working on other stuff.
We are working on other stuff. And I think what's important to know is when you're working on your 5 to 9.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this yesterday, that because I got a new phone, and I was saying that what you could do is just connect your old phone to your new phone, and bingo bango, you have all the stuff that you had on your old phone. But one of the problems with my old phone was there's so much stuff on it that it wasn't working properly.
Yeah.
And sometimes in your 5 to 9, especially when you want to get a lot of business at the beginning, you pick up a lot of work that maybe sometimes you shouldn't be doing. It's not really your core business.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you need to reset and go, I'm going to drop a bunch of work, and whatever work comes back to me, that's probably my core business, as opposed to doing all this stuff.
Right. And, the reality is, terrible to say, but this is our 5 to 9, our hustle on the side. And sometimes work is there, and work demand, like your actual 9 to 5 demands your attention for that minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And sometimes your 9 to 5 bleeds into 9, 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
Stuff's going on.
And this is where we've been talking about why it's been such a while is that, in my day-to-day, one of the things that I do is I teach or I facilitate learning for Lean Six Sigma green belt candidates, and getting projects delivered and businesses improved, and that's what I do. And I liken those weeks where I do that, because it's in full week cycle, as like going into a submarine and just submerging, because I can't think about anything. I can't do or think about anything else for that week. And knowing that that's coming, I know I try to get as much done in advance, and I try to focus as much as I can in the weeks that follow, the days and weeks that follow. But for that week, I make virtually no progress.
Mm-hmm. And so, we've never said we're perfect. We're just kind of telling you how we trying to balance like work and our 5 to 9 and our family. And you'll probably read a whole bunch of blogs about people like how to get ready for vacation and things like that. And then one of the tips is do a whole bunch of podcast episodes before you go on vacation.
Right.
Which is probably what we should have done. And, you know, in a perfect world, yes, we would have banged out like 4, and then we just would have put them in the scheduler, and then out they would have went. But
right.
It doesn't always work like that. And so don't always take what these blogs say and go, oh, I suck. Because it's not always true. Like it's easier to write a blog post that says you should like stockpile episodes than actually doing them.
Sure.
And the important thing is to do them. Like we could have just went, we missed like 2, so we're not going to do anymore. No, we decided we're doing one today and we're doing it.
Right. Well, it doesn't hurt that this is episode. If we go back to the original iteration, the Business Innovation Podcast, this is episode 49, Mike.
Oh,
49.
Damn, we've done almost a year's worth of these bad boys.
We are coming up on a year, and we're coming up on the anniversary 50th episode.
Yes.
Which we still need to talk about and make as special as possible, because you know that's we've been doing this for a year, man. Like this is it's been a year.
It's been a year, and if you would have said you have to do 50 podcasts, it would have been like,
we never would have started.
When were you going to do that? I don't got time for 50. I got like work and side hustle, and got to read some books over here for some other stuff that we're doing, and I got a court. But I think it goes back to, I don't know what episode was. You just do something every day. If you just do one thing, eventually you'll have a body of work. So we just kept plugging along one episode a week, and then sometimes we threw 2 in there. Sometimes we didn't have any. But look, we're almost at like a year's worth of episodes.
That's a lot of good content.
Yes. You should go back to all of them.
Yeah, and if you're listening right now and you're a new listener, we've been doing this for a year, so you know, get 49 are easier to listen to than 50. So you probably just go now and download them all. Available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and iHeartRadio. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
I think
the key here, Mike, and I think we've said it, but let's state it. I'm going to state it explicitly.
Okay.
I think it's okay to not lose focus and to deviate from the plan of making progress every day and sort of ignore your side hustle. I think it's okay, as long as it doesn't become a habitual thing. It's like going. I liken it now. I liken it to like going back in the day when I was working out. It's like going to the gym.
Yep.
Sometimes it's good to take a week off.
Yep.
But then what you can't do, and this was my problem, is you let a week become 2 weeks, and 2 weeks becomes a month, and a month becomes a year. You know, so the important thing is to just get back on that horse. But it's okay to take a break, especially when you know that. And this is sort of how I reconcile it for myself, is that for those periods where I know I'm not going to be mentally focused, anything I create will probably need to be redone. And so to me, being that process guy, it doesn't make sense to do something knowing that you got to redo it later on. So and maybe that's just my own personal justification to make it okay for why I do what I do or don't do what I do. But I know that when I'm doing work and when I'm doing stuff devoted to the various projects that you and I have going on, Mike, or my own projects, or learning new things, reading books, whatever. If I can't give my whole to it, it's almost better to not at that point, and just come back the next day and try again.
And it's also, I think we had to let the podcast go a bit because as you said, we have other projects. We're trying to launch some other products and services. Plus you had like a week of hard training. And
yes.
I had some other stuff going on. But people had talked about when's the podcast going to come back? Like, that's what I mean about things will come back to you. So the things that are important to do work, this was one of them. One, we missed it. It's like, we need to, like, we missed doing this. Yeah. And 2, there was some people that said, well, when's the podcast coming back?
Which is cool.
And that clues into, you're adding value, and that's work you should do. Because there's some other work that I haven't been doing, man, no one said anything about. So maybe there's no value in that work and I should just let it go, which gives more time, let's say, for this or our other projects. So it's important to keep stock of the work that people value instead of just, I'm busy. And well, I picked up this work when I first started my side hustle, so I have to keep it. No, you need to reevaluate what your core business is. And I think that's some of the products that we're doing, but things like reevaluating your business model through some tools that we have, reevaluating who your customers are, who are your customers, and how do you best deal with them? And then how do you implement that? So these are tools that you need to, maybe in your downtime or when you've missed some work, maybe it's time to go back, is maybe to pick up these tools and figure out where your 5 to 9 is going when you're on this kind of a hiatus or either forced or self-imposed.
And I think that's a good segue, Mike. And we've talked about it a bit in the past, but the project that we are working on is that, what we're calling the business innovation playbook, which is really aimed at guys like us who, maybe need a hand defining who their customers are, defining their business model, understanding what type of value they bring to their customers and how they bring value and how they can maximize the value. And we basically built something for us, right?
Yeah.
We built a product for us to use, and now we're opening that door so that other people can benefit from the value that we've seen, because it's been helpful, knowing what topics to pick in the podcast to bring value to the listeners. It's been awesome knowing sort of the demographic breakdown of our customers so that we can create new products or start brainstorming things. What's the next thing? Okay, we've done this business innovation playbook. What's next? Like what else do people want? And I haven't been to date. I haven't been a fan of overtly asking people, but maybe that is what we need to do. Maybe we just need to ask people, hey, what do you want from us next? So we've taken those steps, and Mike, you are the customer guy. I like to think I'm the business model guy and the process guy. So we've sort of combined forces and put this thing together, which is kind of cool. But I mean, originally just started out as something for us.
Yeah, because mostly when you start out your 5 to 9, you have something that you want to do. Like you start with the product. I do this, or I have this product, or I have this service, and you start kind of spinning to try and get business. But it's not. You have that. So we've talked to people that go, I do this thing, but how do I know where to go get customers? Who is my customer? Where do they hang out? Like, should I get on social media? I have no idea.
Right.
It all depends who your customer is.
If your 5 to 9 is a landscaping gig, then probably not. You should
I mean, maybe you need to find other ways to. Maybe writing blogs isn't the way to go. Maybe you need to use Twitter. But it all depends on some of the information that you already have from your customer, and then over to Vince that talks about what your business model is. So you have your thing. But it's these other things that kind of bring it all together to accelerate your 5 to 9.
Right.
And those are the things you need to think about in your downtime, I think, when you're not doing, let's say, landscaping.
Sure.
Those are the questions you need to move your how to innovate your business. Those are the things you need to work on while you're not doing the thing that you do.
Because we also want to take you from, a side hustle, small business to a medium business or large business, because then we've got extra stuff that we can offer you. We want
to take you from where Aaron Rickson was or where Paul Houle was to where they are now, right? They're doing their stuff. They had their 9 to 5. They got to that tipping point, and it was all the tools, like who are my customer, what should be my business model. Like Aaron was already a great writer.
Yeah,
like writing wasn't his problem. And writing great content and writing great content for other people wasn't his problem. His problem was, how am I going to take that and get out of my 9 to 5?
Right.
And that goes to delving into who his customers were and delving into what his business model was.
Right. We got to get them both back on the show.
Yeah, I know Aaron wants to be back.
Does he? Okay, let's get him
back. If you're new, I mean, Paul Houle episode is our best episode.
I think the most downloaded episode.
Sorry, the most the most popular, I should say.
Okay, fair enough.
The most popular one is Paul Houle, and I think coming second is actually Aaron.
Aaron,
and then our
Bob's probably up there too.
Then Bob the BA, who's also who jumped, right? Did he not jump from having a full-time gig to being Bob the BA?
I think so, and I don't know the full Bob backstory. But you know, you just by conversation with him, I think he recently made that move. I get the impression that he recently made that move. And when I say recently, I'll say like the last 3 to 5 years. But now, the guy has written a book. He's an in-demand keynote speaker. Like I don't think he's hurting for work, which is awesome.
Paul just wrote actually a blog that maybe we should have him in for, is how to deal with difficult people. Because not only do you, I think he said it was his most popular blog post, because not only do you have that with your 9 to 5, but you have it with your 5 to 9. And it's important to be able to deal with your customers. Yeah. Like, it'd be difficult. Or you find out, and once you find out those difficult customers, those aren't the ones you want to deal with. What's the strategy for kind of putting a velvet rope around your business so you get rid of them, and then you don't take more of those type of customers on, because those just drain your time, your money, resources. That's what you don't want.
Yeah. Because Mike, you and I, we're not cheap. We're not cheap.
We're easy, but we're not cheap.
Right. But we're not cheap. And but it's also not about I don't know. I think for us it's as much about the work as it is the reward.
Yeah.
And so, I'd rather work with a client that I love working with for less than someone that I just, is just a paycheck.
Because remember, when you work your 9 to 5, it's not like you can tell, those are the people you have to work with. Yeah. It's like you can get rid of them. You got to slog it out. But do you want to do that in your 5 to 9? Like you want that to continue? No. You want to work with customers that
value you,
want your services, want to partner with you, you add value. You want to just keep slogging it out. What's the point? You might as well just work longer in your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Just work more hours.
And be miserable there. Right. Instead of being miserable in 2 places.
Right. I don't want to be miserable with your thing.
Yeah.
Like, this is your thing that you have passion about. You don't want to be miserable there.
Yeah. No, it's nobody does this. If you're getting into a 5 to 9 just for the financial gain, then you've already lost.
Yeah, you might as well, just work longer and maybe pick up overtime at your 9 to 5. Sure. Right? But this isn't about, the 5 to 9 is talking about your long game.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes it's better to work with clients that you want to work with. The work is fantastic for a little less money, because maybe in 3 years the money will be more. But it's really, when you're working your 5, it's about the work. It's not, I need more money. You do get more money, but in your side gig, you should probably have some passion around that. And when in your downtime like we had, that's when you need to go back and reevaluate what your business is.
Mm-hmm.
Get back to your core business.
Mm-hmm. Which is, I think, what we've done, and that's something historically I have struggled with. It's been well documented, I think, on this show, in this series, that sometimes my focus is too sporadic, too sparse. No, that's not the right word, but too spread. Let's just go with that.
Spread, yes.
Too spread out, and I want to do like 10 different things at once, and then I do 10 different things half-assed. And what we've been doing, and this was the original 90-day challenge. The new 90-day challenge is actually getting someone to buy our first 90-day challenge
yes.
thing. But anyways, but that was all about focus, so that you're not half-assing things. You're actually using your whole ass on. You got to use.
There should be our logo.
You got to use your whole ass. That should be the title of this episode.
You got to
use your whole ass.
That's right.
So if you're not using your whole ass, then you're just gonna half-ass everything, right? So
it's the strategy. Jesus. It's a strategy of, should you go like long, or should you go deep?
Right. So that was the difference.
Spread, or should you focus on one thing but really go deep into that one thing? Yeah.
Analogy: do you want to have a narrow ass or a wide ass? Which do you want?
Or you want a butt like a trunk, or
and I don't judge. I mean, so whatever. But it's all about. Let's now bring this back. It's all about results. And so you can do 10 different things, to a level of 60% quality, and okay, fine. Or you can do one thing to 90%. Know that it's, it might not be perfect. And the playbook, Mike, it's not perfect. But it's worked for us. It's worked for the folks that we shared it with. We've got some pretty good results from the people that have been using it. Like it's as close to done as you're gonna get, and that to me is better than now having to go back and fix 10 things because you didn't do them right the first time. So
but what do we always say?
Give your whole ass, man.
Is it give your whole ass? Is that gonna be the title?
I don't know. Well, we got to work ass in there somehow.
We'll probably get kicked off of iTunes.
No, why? No. We're just gonna lose our G rating.
Dude, that's terrible.
Come on, dude. It's 2016. Ass is not a bad word anymore.
No, considering if you watched SNL last night, which was Saturday night, there was some words flying. Dave Chappelle was on. Whew, I don't know how that passed anything.
Well, it was live.
I don't know how that. Yeah.
let's step back.
If that could be on network TV.
Dave Chappelle. Okay, now we're getting totally away from this, but now you're gonna, this is our personality. It's fine. Dave Chappelle, 11 years off TV. It's been 11 years.
Greatest show ever, too.
So I'm watching the show. I'm watching SNL with my wife, and she's like, "Man, he looks old." I'm like, "It's been 11 years."
Yeah.
Like
I thought he looked exactly the same.
No, you could tell he's a little wrinkly.
Yeah.
But it's been 11 years. Okay.
Oh, he smokes cigarettes like crazy.
No, I know.
It's great.
But he still got it.
Yeah, bro.
Like, he was killer.
Well, he's always at the Comedy Store, so he's been working on his act for forever.
I know, but awesome. This is a dude who was the hottest thing in TV. And you know what? I think, given the recent change in political landscape, I totally could see a scenario where the Chappelle Show comes back, because I think we need it.
That would be fantastic. Could you imagine?
It's almost worth, having crazy.
Damn, that was such a good show.
Yeah, it was good. Anyways,
we digress.
I still am fearful for the world, but if the Chappelle Show comes back, we can talk.
It'd be all worth it.
I don't know if it's worth it, but we could talk.
Us being Canadian, it doesn't really matter.
We're still in the fallout zone there, Mike.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Anyways, so okay. So refocus. So, make sure that when you're doing anything, you're giving your whole ass, and you know,
Yep.
and just just keep it going. So I guess to circle back to the original part of this episode, which is about when is it okay to sort of take a step back and to not do anything. And I think it's okay to do that. We're not the Gary V. You got to hustle, you got to work. I admire the hell out of that guy. I could not keep up the pace that he does.
Remember when I said I was watching one of the videos and I said I'm 20 minutes in
and I'm tired.
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted watching this dude.
Yeah, but, and so that's us. Like we're not that. We can't keep the Gary V pace. And you know what? It works for him, and the guy is doing incredible things. And you know what? Great. That's not me. But I'm going to focus on my strengths. I'm going to focus, like I've been doing. So while you've been doing the straight no chaser, Mike, I've been doing YouTube videos. Little 1 to 2 minute. Thank you. Little 1-2 minute things, just in the project management, process management space. Hey, let's talk about. I was just at a conference on corporate culture. Let's talk about culture. Hey, I was doing this. All right, let's talk about that. Like, it's just little 1 minute things. The one that I shot at the TFC game for the first playoff game, like about being on a project team and the similarities to being in a profession or on a sports team. So these are the ways that we keep busy, and it's okay to not go the Gary V way and record 10. Like, I don't have a guy following me around making videos.
It'd be cool if I did, but
it'd be awesome. But I got to do it myself.
It's me.
Me. It's me and my Samsung that doesn't blow up because it's an older model. But like that it's okay. I don't need to feel bad if I don't record something every day, because I'm that's not who I am, and that's who he is, and that's great. It's not who I am.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So the moral of the story is, if you're going to take a break,
it's fine. Don't
take a break. It's cool.
Don't get all down on yourself. And don't pull, like, as the analogy you talked about, like going to the gym.
Yeah.
You can be hammering at the gym and it's so easy to slide not going. Like, remember those days where you be hammering for like 6 months and you're like all yoked and you're eating right, and then you take a break, and then 1 week turns into 2, and it's so easy to slide back into not doing something. Always reset yourself. Always come back to your 5 to 9 if that's where your passion is. Don't let it slide. Don't let it slide, because in the end you're gonna hate yourself more for not giving it a shot. So take that shot. Give your whole ass.
Use your whole ass. And with that, let's wrap this episode. As always, we appreciate your feedback, your comments, your questions, your concerns, your complaints. Complaints can go to @MikeMartino on Twitter. Accolades can go to @Vince_Mirabelli on Twitter. Same user on Instagram. You can get me an email. You can find me on LinkedIn. All of us, we're all over the place. So let's hear what are the things that you go through when you've take a break, or what are some of the challenges you face when it comes to knowing when to take a break from your 5 to 9. So I want to hear from you. We want to hear from you.
And what do you do to get back in the game?
And what do you do to get back on the horse?
Yeah.
So let's share. Let's really turn this into a community. All right. And with that, Mike, I'll see you later there, buddy. You have a good one. All right. Peace.
See you later, everybody.